Welcome, everyone. First of all, let me quickly apologize for a mix-up that we had with the timing. So if you are here today, thank you very much for joining. So let's start with the webinar. Welcome, everyone. This is our 5th edition of the Product Journey webinar. Again, we are super happy to have you here. If it's your first time here, welcome as well. I hope you're going to enjoy the topics we'll discuss today. So I'm Thiago, I'm from the Success team, and I'll be your host for today. Let me quickly share my screen and then we can go through. Perfect. So let's go through some housekeeping rules. As usual, I think if you guys are coming for a while, you know that attendees are muted upon the entry. This way we will avoid some background noising. Please, whenever you have questions, we'll be happy to answer them. So send everything here to the Q&A box just below the screen. If you won't be able to answer them today, you're going to receive the answers anyway, so don't be shy. Ask as much as you want. After, you're going to receive as well from our team, from marketing team, a follow-up email with the recording of the session. So if there is any colleague that couldn't join, or if you'd like to rewatch it, don't worry, you're covered there as well. Today, let me start talking about our speakers. Well, you have myself, Thiago. You probably use it to me. I'm here every quarter. But this time we have no newcomers. Franek have been here around 3 times already. He's our senior product manager. And we have Mirek Koldus as well. He's been already before here, so it's no day for new people, but new topics and really cool things to discuss. For the agenda today, Jan is going to bring for us the accessibility pack, where we're going to talk a little bit about inclusion in GoodData Cloud. And after that, Mirek is going to discuss smart reporting and PDF exports. Also, a little bit of a sneak peek on which kind of exports we are going to bring to GoodData very soon. As soon as Mirek will be over, we'll go through some Q&A with our panelists. So one more time, feel free to send the questions. We'll try to answer all of them. Just as usual, a quick information. Everything that will be discussed here, all the features that we are talking today, are available for our cloud products, which means GoodData Cloud and GoodData Cloud Native. If you're still in the legacy product, this is a good time for you to reach out to one of us, your customer success managers, to discuss how the migration should happen and how we can help you. If you're already in cloud, this is the opportunity to also see all the features we'll be baking recently. So I hope you guys are going to have a good time. So without further ado, Jan, you can start with your topic.
Thank you, Thiago, very much for a nice introduction. Let me take over screen sharing and let me jump directly into the topic.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for confirmation. Hello, everybody. I'm Jan Franek, and today I would like to share with you some more details about one of the hot topics for us at GoodData, and which is accessibility. This is the topic that we have started working on actively, like already, not just within the current year. We have some baseline delivered also already before, but this year we really decided to focus on this topic more into detail, and are aiming to have accessible analytics for the end consumers by the end of this year. So, but before diving into more details, let's synchronize what is the context of the accessibility I will be using here. So I will be speaking about the accessibility in context of designing the products and services and environments for everybody, so that including so that also people with various types of the disabilities can consume the information in our analytics and can work with the tool without any major obstacles. So the accessibility, why should you care about the accessibility in the first place, right? So there are multiple regulations in each country. Each country has basically their own set of the regulations. They're adopting some general requirements and applying also some local specifics on top of it. And what we can see also in the European Union is that there is European Accessibility Act, that is enforcing certain deadlines. I will speak about this in a moment, regarding the requirements on certain type of industries or enterprises that are delivering like specific products or services, their solution should be accessible. But it's not just about that. It's also an opportunity, like compliance with this European Accessibility Act also is opportunity to differentiate your product and your services in the market. We also see that if you are dealing with business to business or business to business to B2B2C type of the contracts or clients, we also see that the enterprise type of the clients are really paying more attention to the accessibility requirements and accessibility compliance. So by having the accessible analytics, you would be able also to have a higher chance to win the enterprise contracts. And by fulfilling the requirements for the accessibility compliance, it's not improving just the user experience for users with various disabilities, but it's improving the also experience of all users because, for example, there is like better color contrast, or it's easier to navigate in the tool using the keyboard, right? So there are like multiple improvements that are being triggered by these accessibility guidelines, and they're improving the experience for all users, not just the ones with disabilities. And eventually, all this together will have the opportunity to drive the engagement and business growth. The fact is that just in EU alone, 1/4 of all adults, around 100 million people, have some sort of disability. So we are not speaking about some 1 or 2% of all the users. It's rather significant amount of the end users that have some sort of disability, and which may find these improvements very useful for their daily work in reality. So why it should matter for the companies? So it is not just right thing to do to be compliant with the accessibility requirements, but also smart thing to do. And we see that with the upcoming compliance deadlines and requirements, we see that the larger businesses needs vendors who are fully aligned with these accessibility standards and are compliant with the accessibility standards. So we want to be there, and we want to also help you to win your deals with your clients by providing this accessibility compliance within our analytics. So as mentioned, within the Europe, there is law that enterprises that are operating in Europe and they are providing specific type of services or products. There is like a list of the services and products that are in scope of this law, must comply with this European Accessibility Act. And already before that, or in parallel to that, there are also regulations in US, like ADA, like Section 508. But basically, this type of regulations exist also in different countries around the world, and having some standard set of the requirements. And next to it, there are also sometimes the specific local requirements in addition. So how and what exactly we are aiming to deliver? So we are aiming to be compliant with standard EN 301/549, which refers to WCAG or Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.1 level AA. So this contains like list of requirements or list of the checks against which every product or every web product, in our case, analytics, should be compliant. And this is covering the accessibility requirements for users with various disabilities. So we are aiming to be compliant with WCAG 2.1 AA. By this, we are aiming also to be compliant with EN standard. And in addition to that, we are aiming to also be compliant with the PDF exports from the dashboard and to have those PDF exports accessible as well. In terms of our plan for implementation of this accessibility compliance, we have conducted some internal audit already last year, we have identified in which areas we are accessible already, and we have identified as well the areas where we have some gaps. So during Q1, we already addressed the majority of these most critical gaps where we have not even partial coverage against the requirements. So majority of those have been addressed, and the rest of the smaller gaps we have categorize them into 4 categories, focusing on the users with cognitive disabilities, focusing on users with visual impairments, screen reader users, and users with motor disabilities. And we are aiming to tackle this in these smaller packages. For cognitive disabilities, we are aiming to have quicker error fixes, better readability within the portal, easier interactions. For visual impairments, we want to have better contrast of the colors. So we are aiming to have some theme or color palette that would be coming out of the box and would simplify for dashboard builders, providing this accessible experience, so you don't have to build it on your own. And also in combination with the persistent tooltips and smoother navigation, address the needs of the users with visual impairments. This is planned to be rolled out somewhere mid of Q2. Around the same time, we are aiming to also address and solve the issues for the users that are using screen readers. So we want to enhance the keyboard navigation to be able to navigate through tooltips, dialogues, drop-downs, menus, etc. We want to have improved readability of the content, and we want to also have summary first updates for the screen readers. So it will first read the total number of the results first, reducing the overload and aiding comprehension. So there is much more technical improvements that are happening in the background, but we try to pick those which are most relevant ones. And the last piece of the work within Q2 will be set of the improvements focusing on users with motor disabilities. So again, focusing on even further improvements for users that are using keyboard for control. We want to improve and simplify date filtering within the dashboard, and we want to improve also form submission as well. Once we are done with those fixes, we are aiming to conduct an external audit by end of this Q2 to confirm also by the external authority whether we have not missed anything important during our internal audit, and to collect list of the issues. To collect list of the issues and to address those gaps during rest half of the year this year. So we would be able to conduct follow-up confirmation by this external authority till end of this year, and get the confirmation that we have full accessibility compliance for dashboard consumer experience, and to have this confirmed by this external audit. So during the current year, we are focusing on the dashboard consumer, so meaning the user that is consuming the information on the dashboard in the view mode. So these are primary target, and during the next years we want to investigate and go farther than that, and see how we can improve the experience also for the other type of users. But this year we decided to focus on these dashboard consumers because those users are the most frequent users of the analytics and would be suffering the most in case there would be any accessibility gaps for them. So that's basically it from my side. And probably if there will be some questions, we can answer them at the end of this session. So handing over now.
Thank you, Jan. We do have some questions. I think we have around 3-4 questions. We will address them in the Q&A. Thank you very much. Very important topic. And it's really nice to see that good data is becoming more and more accessible. This is really, really interesting. Now, let me invite Mirek. Hi, Mirek. Thank you for joining one more time. And let's hear the new updates on the reporting tools.
All right. Hello. Let me also share my screen. Can you just give me please thumbs up that everything is up? Fantastic, thank you. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we are cooking up in our feature teams for our exporting capabilities. I will turn a slideshow mode for a second. I do want to make a small disclaimer. Everything that you will see is actually pre-release demo. So this is not something that you can already see in your product, but if you like it, you will see it very, very soon. So hopefully, this will make you happy. So why we are actually making a new exporting capabilities? You probably already know that we already support export dashboard to PDF, which is the vertical kind of standard dashboard layout, and that's something that is working very well for us. Excuse me, but we have realized that it's not actually something that is that useful for every purpose. So it can be great for archiving, it can be great for collaboration, and use cases like that. But when you want to be ready to present your data or findings in your data to, let's say, larger audiences, maybe a little bit more formal setting, you would usually not choose the dashboard layout, but maybe something a little bit more suited for the occasion, which usually is some sort of slideshow mode. So slide deck, PowerPoint presentation, and stuff like that. And we wanted to basically offer you something that you can do how you can do this very, very quickly. So we are introducing a new type of PDF export. We are calling it slideshow mode, and that's exactly what it does. It reconstruct the dashboard into a slide deck that you can immediately share. It was kind of designed for storytelling, so every insight gets a special focus. So you really can go one by one through the content of your dashboard and give it a proper voiceover. The layout is intentionally clean, so you really can take your time and make sure that you explain everything properly. And it's really kind of ideal for more formal presentations where you would be presenting on a large screen, and scrolling up and down vertical document isn't necessarily the right format to do it. And one more thing to mention, we are talking about PDF export, but we are actually offering this both into PDF and PowerPoint. We will talk about the differences in a little bit, but from the layout and design perspective, those two formats are actually identical. The main difference will be that in the PDF you will really get like a static format that you can't really edit easily because it's an exported document. But in the PowerPoint, you will be able to even make some changes, customize some text, add some additional comments, remove some objects and stuff like that. So that's the main advantage of the PowerPoint over Excel, because you get the extra editability to really fine tune your presentation before you go in front of your audience. So hopefully this sounds exciting. This kind of comparison of the two export modes will hopefully make it a little bit easier to picture, but I will actually jump straight to the live demo. So on the left side, you see the traditional PDF export that you already know from our current exporting capabilities. And on the right side, it's a subset of you would export from such dashboard. It's just the cover slide and one of the content slides, but that's the type of content that you would receive. It's the really slide deck that is formatted for the presentation. So that's kind of the difference between the two modes. And let me jump right into the demo so you see how this works. I will first show you the kind of raw and customized version of the exporting, and then we will talk a little bit more about how you can customize it to better fit your styling, content, and targeting your specific customer, especially in the content of different logos and stuff like that. So we actually support export of dashboard and export of dashboard widget. And let's take a look at how this will look like. So I will stop the slideshow mode and switch into fantastic. And this is perfect timing to be logged out. Fantastic. So this is a dashboard that I have taken from our demo data. So something that you may have already seen before. Let's not focus too much about the content. But if we go into the dashboard exporting option, you will see that there are more options now. So snapshot PDF, that's the traditional one. And now there are two new for the slide deck. There's a slide deck PDF and slide deck PowerPoint. So we will click on the slide deck PDF. I will actually not do it because it takes a couple of seconds. So I will just quickly show you the export just for the sake of time. So this is already the exported presentation. You don't see a lot of colors because, as I mentioned, we are applying the default. We will look into the customization in a second. So we see the cover slide. Then we have something that we call introduction slide, where we can put on some metadata about the presentation, and then we go straight into the content. And you can see that the dashboard has been broken down into one visualization at a time. And we also have something that we call section slides, which is basically a breakout slide of the individual sections. I will explain how exactly we are deconstructing the dashboards into this logic, and then we just keep going through all the content of your dashboard all the way to the end. So this particular dashboard has been deconstructed into 19 slides. Similarly, as I mentioned, we don't support only the whole dashboard, but also the single visualization. I believe I have prepared this for the top 10 spenders. Again, exporting. There is now two more options, slide deck to PDF and slide deck to PowerPoint. And again, I will jump straight into this example. So export dashboard widget to PDF will export the individual slide, but it will be embedded again into something in the slide deck mode. So the visualization has been embedded into the template, and you can again share it both as a PDF and PowerPoint. Speaking about PowerPoint, let me quickly switch to my PowerPoint. Again, it's an export of the same document, but I wanted to show you that all the text objects here are actually text objects that you can modify as you see fit. You can start adding more content. Also, if we switched into some of the visualization titles will still be kind of textual object. This is something that we are already preparing for the PDF UA accessibility that my colleague Jano mentioned. So we are already kind of building the foundation for the accessibility rules as well. The charts are pictures, and also pictures are pictures, but they will be tagged properly so that screen readers and stuff like that will recognize them and will able to interpret them again for the accessibility reasons. So they will have alternate text and all the things that they will need for the proper accessibility. So let me kind of switch back into my deck, and let's talk how you can actually take this default gray looking presentation into something that is a little bit more exciting. But before we do that, I will actually promise to talk a little bit about the deconstruction. So what's happening behind the scenes? So we are reconstructing dashboards into the individual layout modes. And this will actually make sense in a second, so bear with me. Then when we have the dashboard reconstructed, one slide at a time, we will extract the content, already properly fitted for the screen sizes to make sure that everything is readable. So that's why we are doing the reconstruction first, and then we are building the document. Again, we need to build the document from the ground up so that we have the document tree properly structured, again, especially for the sake of accessibility in PDF and also the editability on the PowerPoint. So that's kind of the workflow that is happening behind the scenes, and we will get back to this in the styling, so you know which parts you can influence to make this a little bit more customized to your needs. But the kind of the logic that is happening behind us here is that we are actually parsing the standard dashboard layout and extracting the different modes. So first, there is the dashboard name, and again, I will probably be dynamically kind of switching into this different document. The dashboard name is something that is then exported into the cover slide. Then we have the filter bar, which is going into the introduction slide. So that's here. And then we have the content slides. That's the breakdown of the individual visualizations, one visualization per time. And eventually, if you are using dashboard sections, they will also be using the section slides, and we kind of use them as a breakup slide to give a break to your presentation and make sure you focus on a specific set of visualization at a time. So that's what's happening behind the scenes, and that's the logic that we are using to really build a presentation out of a dashboard. So that's the logic that is happening behind the scenes. And now let's go into the customizations. So what you will be able to apply in terms of customization. So theming. So if you are using custom themes for your workspaces, or even the whole organization, it will be applied automatically. Also, we have extended the theming to also apply custom logo and custom background image, which are objects that are specific for these exports. And I will again show you in the demo. And we have also introduced the support for dashboard plugins so that you can slightly modify the logic, how the different sections are broken down. Because as you have seen, we are kind of going one visualization at a time. But if you want to make some adjustments and introduce some more complex logic, that some things should be grouped together, that's something that you can then specify for specific dashboards, even using dashboard plugins. So we will have a lot of customization options. And one thing that we want to still deliver, but I will not be able to demo today, is export template. And that's basically how you will define where the logo is placed, where the dashboard filter are propagated, in which corner, and stuff like that. So templating. So those are the customization options. And let's see how this looks like when you are actually exporting this. Again, let me just quickly go back to dashboard. You will probably notice at a first glance that this is something that has already been themed. I purposefully chose a theme that was a little bit like very different from the original one. And again, if we do the same export and slide it for PDF, I will get a document that will look like this. Hopefully you already see the difference. Again, let me show you before and after. So we are using different cover image. There is your logo placed. And as we will go through the visualization, you will notice that the theming from the dashboard persisted into the exported document as well. So we have a cover image, which is the background image that is here available on the cover slide. There is a logo that has been applied for this particular theme. It's a slightly different dashboard name because I also wanted to highlight that we are using plugins. The theme is actually persisted throughout the presentation. So this is the headlines. We have the theming also applied on the other charts. But here I want to kind of take a little bit of a break in the complex slide. Let me show you how it looks like in the dashboard. So we have a visualization switcher with 3 visualization, and we have some static content. I chose rich text with a little bit of markdown copy here. And by default, what we did is that we have actually deconstructed this again, one visualization at a time. But for this particular workspace, I have actually uploaded a plugin. And what the plugin does is that it will actually iterate through the whole section, copying the starting content and looping over the individual visualization. So maybe not something that you would do, but as an example, I think that's something that nicely demonstrates the configurability of the reconstruction process so that you really have this under control depending on how you want the storytelling to be functioning. So you can see that we have the rich text, and then we have the first visualization, then we have the second visualization, the rich text still is the same, and then we have the third visualization, and again, rich text stay the same. Rest of the presentation is using the simple logic of one visualization at a time, only following the theming. And again, on the breakup slides, we are using the cover image to customize the experience and personalize it to the colors of this specific workspace, which can be one of your customers. So those are the customization. And as I mentioned, I can't really show you the templating because it's still work in progress, but let me kind of show you how this will work together. So this is still the 3 steps that I have showed you before. So reconstructing dashboard, extracting content, and building the final output. So in the process of reconstructing the dashboard, that's really where you can apply and even debug, and I will show this to you in a second, your plugins. And we are already applying the custom theming so that the pictures that we take of the individual visualization are transformed by your other plugins, but also the color themes and the color palette are applied to this as well. So this is the first place where we start applying the theming. Then we are extracting the content. And in the process of building the presentation, we will have the template for the exporting. And also for the actual presentation itself, the PowerPoint, the background of the presentation, we are once again applying the same theming that was applied for the visualization that we extracted. So it's a little bit of a process. You don't necessarily have to worry about this because all this is happening automatically. But what's important is that you get theming, color palette, the logos, the cover images, are all applied automatically, and then you can modify the logic of your template and the reconstruction of the individual section of your dashboard with additional settings and additional configuration. The template, I will try to at least kind of describe what it will do. It will kind of describe the proportion of the slides. So at the beginning, we will support only 16:9, but in the future, we may also support like 4:3 and stuff like that. So this type of templating. And also you will be able to say, like, if the logo is maybe the logo is placed in your top right corner, in the left bottom corner, you will have pagination. And maybe in the right bottom corner, you will have the name of the dashboard so that it's repeated throughout the presentation. So that's the type of things that you will be able to modify with the template that we hopefully will introduce in this or next week before the launch of the whole feature. And the last thing that I wanted to show you for this presentation is this special mode. That's really something for your developers if you will want to start modifying the reconstruction logic through the plugin. It's essentially like just a slightly different mode of the dashboard, but it renders it already in this breakout composition. So you can see that it's already broken down one visualization at a time. And here where we go into the complex slide, this is actually the dashboard where we don't have the plugin applied, but this is how you can actually debug your plugin so that you don't have to debug through constantly doing exports. Every export takes you seconds. That would be a nightmare. So we have this kind of experience so that you can find your plugin to make it work as effectively as possible. So this is something that is obviously not exposed to your customers, but for your developers, we believe this is quite handy when you are preparing your plugin for the exports. All right. So that was actually the main content of the new PDF export, but it's definitely not all that we are preparing for our exporting capabilities. So I will give you a little bit of preview what else will be releasing soon and what we will be working also for the rest of the Q2. The one thing that is actually quite popular in demand, and I think this is something that will make you very happy, is what we call filter context in exports and beyond, because as I will show you, it's not just for exports, it's also for our automations, so for data alerts and scheduled exports. And one of the things that we recognize as gap that we have failed to introduce up until now is that when you are exporting a document like PDF, you see the dashboard or the Excel file of your data, but you don't really know what filters were applied on the data. And if you are getting back to this document a little bit, 1-2 weeks after, you will probably not remember the filter context that was applied to it, especially if you have a lot of filters. And we know that some of the dashboards have maybe 10 plus filters, so that's impossible to even remember the exact configuration. So we want to start basically propagating the filter context really throughout the whole journey, not only in the live dashboard, but also all the flows that are triggered from it. So let me give you a little bit of a preview. So again, this is not live demo, this is just a preview, but we also hope to release this soon. So usually user doesn't really export dashboard in its default setting. There is some interaction, at least some filter configuration. Then we may set up some data alert. So this is actually a preview of a new structure of the data alert dialog. It's a little bit bigger because we needed more real estate to include the filter context. And now the filter context is actually listed here directly in the dialog. First and foremost as a reminder of what is it that you actually are configuring, but it's also editable so that you can actually fine-tune the date filter. You don't have to close the dialog, change your dashboard filter and start over. You can do it directly from the dialog. And also you can do it in the edit mode. So you can now actually edit your schedules and alerts without deleting it and starting over just because you want to slightly modify your filters. So hopefully this will be a good improvement. But this is not the end. We actually want to go further. So when you later receive a notification, so this is data alert notification, the top part is probably familiar to you, but in the bottom part, you are noticing that we will start reminding or repeating the filter context through which the automation was created. So if you have different automation set for different filter contexts, maybe for each of your customer, different automation, then really making sure that the context is presented next to the number is something that will hopefully make this much more useful than just seeing the number and wondering what filter context was applied to it. Similarly, when we are doing like static snapshot exporting, so PDF on this example, but in the Excel it will be the same. We will once again include the filter context into the PDF document or the Excel document as well. And last, when you actually are in the automation, so here, and you click on the Open Dashboard, we want to respect again the context of the data that you are looking for here, and we want to take the filter context, so United States processed last week, and reopen the dashboard with these filters already filled in so that you can kind of continue in the context that triggered this interaction. Obviously, this is a live dashboard, so you can change it any way you want. You can even reset to the dashboard default. But our research kind of suggests, and your feedback suggests, that you want to continue usually in that context of the notification that you are receiving, because that's something that prompted you for a deeper analysis. So in the end-to-end flow, from the initial live dashboard back to the live dashboard through the snapshot modes like alert notification, the filter content is now persisted and always reminded, so that next to there is always a filter context next to the number that you are looking at. So hopefully this is something that you will like. As I mentioned, we do have quite a bit of feedback on this as well. So I know this is something that at least some of you will appreciate. And now I want to really close my presentation with a little bit more deeper outlook about what else we are preparing in the Q2 and upcoming weeks as well for the exporting. First, I wanted to mention when you can actually look forward to those new features that I have just shown you. So for the slideshow mode exports, we will be rolling this out very, very soon. We are in the final staging of fine-tuning and quality control, and we will be rolling it out in the beginning of April. And we are kind of taking lessons from the rollout of the scheduling and alerting, and we will rolling it out with the setting to enable, disable, to give you a time to properly configure it, style it, and everything, so your customers are not surprised when the feature is first rolled out. So you don't need to be worried about the rollout. You can have this under control and even disable it completely if this is the functionality that doesn't fit your use case. So that will be available. As for our GoodData CN customers, the feature will also be available. But again, we are trying to respond some of the feedback that we have received, and we want to pilot a new type of new CN release process on this feature. Because this feature will be slightly more complex. We are introducing a new service also on the backend, which as a cloud customers, you don't have to worry about. But if you are maintaining your own Kubernetes cluster, you will need to consider this for setting up your resources and scaling them up a little bit more. And to make this as smooth as possible, we will be piloting this new process where basically at the time where we will be making this feature available for our GoodData Cloud customers, we will also make it available for our GoodData CN customers, but it will be in a beta type release. And what that means is that it will be disabled by default, so that you can still upgrade to the latest version to get the bug fixes, other new features, but you don't have to immediately scale up your entire infrastructure just to upgrade to this version. You can do this a little bit a little bit later to test it properly, maybe on some dev environment manually, to make sure that you prepare and optimize everything, test it, configure it, and you will have a little bit of a time in this opt-in mode until the feature will be available in GA or by default. And we are not 100% sure if this will be 2 weeks or 1 month, but it should still be plenty of time for you to test it and not be surprised by this new functionality. And again, if you are GoodData CN customers, we would be very happy for you to give us feedback on this new process, because if this will work out well, we will probably make this a standard for at least the more complex features. And again, hopefully this is something that you will appreciate. What else is out there? So in April, we want to productize the PDF PowerPoint export, as I've just mentioned. You may have noticed that last week that we have launched our raw CSV export in beta. If not, feel free to try it. You can turn it on in our early access section. And again, in April, we would like to productize it. Also in April, we would like to publish most of the display filter context improvements, at least in notification and PDF exports. But as I mentioned, we want to do more. There will be 2 more new types of exporting that we want to introduce. One is export dashboard to Excel, which essentially takes all the visualizations on the dashboard, takes their underlying result set, and exports them in one combined Excel document, right? So that you don't have to do one by one and merge them together. If you want to archive the whole dashboard in the raw data, you can do it in a bulk operation in one document. And there will also be export widget to PNG. So it will work similarly like our export widget to PDF, but in the PNG format, it will not be placed into the template of the PDF or PowerPoint. It will really just be the visualization so that you can place it into maybe the PowerPoint that you already have or on some leaflet or stuff like that. And you will really only get the raw picture of the visualization. So 2 more types of the exporting that we will introduce. And beyond that, Jan already mentioned PDF accessibility. That will definitely be a big topic for us that we will want to focus on. And we will want to do PDF accessibility not only for the new format, but also for the existing one. So that's something that we would essentially like to introduce as a standard. Like the PDF accessibility should become like a standard for all our PDF exports that will be connecting to the dashboard. We will also want to introduce the filter context in the Excel support, not just the dashboard one, also the single widget that we already have now in place. And last but not least, we will want to integrate all of these new exporting capabilities into our scheduled automation so that you will be able to schedule regular export of the PowerPoint slides, of the raw exports, or maybe just the combined raw exports data in the combined Excel. So the idea would be that all the manual export options that you will have will be exportable also through the scheduled options. And I think that's all. This is my last slide. It's basically just a summary of what I have just described. I wanted to demonstrate here that really we are adding a lot of new options to our capabilities. And this is like a summary of what type of tabular and visual export you will be able to do in both dashboard and widget settings by the end of the quarter. All right. So that's all I have. And I think, Tiago, back to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to come back, but my video doesn't want to appear. Just 1 second. I don't know. Oh, here am I. I'm back. Miro, thank you very much for the presentation. I have to say that I love these slide decks. They're looking really, really, really cool. But I have a question. Is going for GoodData Cloud, GoodData Cloud Native are we going to have it in good success for partners as well? I would love to use it because, it make my life so much easier.
I'm sure it will be possible. Like for good data success, we are using GoodData Cloud. So
Perfect.
the good thing is that it's not something that we would like to introduce as a like add-on or any special feature. It will be like a traditional part of our exporting capabilities that should include good data success.
Perfect. Otherwise, I'll create an internal ticket. I'm joking.
Of course.
Okay. So now I guess we can go to our round of questions. We had really good amount of questions. We don't have so much time, but I will go through some of them. Let me just open it here. Is Jan with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hello, welcome back. So, yeah, you answered some questions already during the webinar, but there is one here that I think would be really nice that everyone could check the answer. There is a link, guys, if you would like to check this, we'll share for sure later. But for the accessibility pack, do all companies in the European Union need to be compliant with European Accessibility Act?
No, the European Accessibility Act is defining like which products and services are in scope of this Accessibility Act. So, for example, there are companies that provides banking services or e-commerce or travel services, or for example, telecoms are in scope of this. And there are a few more. I shared the link where it's like listed the type of.
Perfect. And then will the whole GoodData product be fully accessible? From what this I understand that like the whole UI, right?
Yeah, so we are aiming to optimize for, the accessibility compliance for dashboard viewer or dashboard consumer experience, so dashboard in the view mode this year. And later we want to expand maybe also for the dashboard builder experience, so dashboard in the edit mode and building the insights and so on. But this year aiming for consumption, dashboard consumption.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let me go to Mirek then now. There is this. Okay, I think this one. Yeah. Okay, this looks great. One question. Can you have different templates for different workspaces? We have a customer per workspace model, and we would like to adapt the style of each presentation to include customer-specific logo in each workspace. I saw that you could put the logos there, but can you do this like different logos for different workspaces?
Yeah, so I think this is like a question to our multi-tenancy model, where different, like the same dashboard can be distributed to different customers in different workspaces. Yes, so we have designed this exactly for this use case, and the way how this works is that we have the templating, which will essentially just design the structure of the layout, right? So the logo should be in the top right corner, but it doesn't state which logo it should be. That definition is actually in the theming. And because the theming can be applied per workspace or even per user, if you want to go that crazy, this is respected in the export. So if I am making the export from customer A, the theming from the customer A workspace will be applied. If the same dashboard and same template will be used in the different workspace, the theming of the different workspace will be applied as well. So as long as you are using theming in your multi-tenant model, the logos and the background image as well will be respected, just like the colors and the color palette would be.
Perfect. That is so cool. Okay, I'm glad to know that you guys are enjoying. And okay, this is another one. We'll be able to customize position of filter context in PDF. In the example, it was at the bottom, but we may prefer it at the top.
Yes. So this is the part that we are still working on. This is what the template will essentially do. I have mentioned it in the context of the new exporting capabilities, where you will be able to say, maybe on the introduction slide, you don't want to see just the filters, but maybe also the description of the dashboard, maybe the dashboard text that you are using, and stuff like that. Or maybe that's something that you don't want to do at all and you want to place it differently. So dashboard filters will be one of these configurable property, and you will be able to place it in different part of the presentations that are configurable through the template. So that's the new exporting mode. And as we will be migrating the old exporting mode or the not the slideshow, but the snapshot mode, the vertical one, we will actually migrate it to this new tooling that we have introduced. We will do that for PDF accessibility. But as part of this change, we will also introduce this templating for this all new of dashboard. So finally, you will be even able to put a logo, and similarly through the template, you will be able to define where, in which corner the filter context will be placed.
Amazing. Really cool. Okay, Jan, I'll go back to you, and then I think we can finish for today because we have more questions, and I think it makes more sense to send them later. But Jan, it's again regarding accessibility, and this should be pretty simple answer. Will accessibility compliance be available also for GoodData Cloud native product, or is only for GoodData Cloud?
It's for both.
It's for both, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Guys, I think it makes more sense to send them those questions later because we are running out of time. But anyways, one more time, we are super happy to have you here. For the regular ones, for the newcomers, it's always a pleasure to have you guys joining us for those sessions. We're gonna have another one by the end of the next quarter, and don't worry, the CS team will be bothering you a lot about it. You're gonna receive emails, we're gonna talk to you in our meetings, so don't worry, you'll be aware. And just a quick thing that I would like to share with you is that we have some of our channels that you could access in case you need any or you have any other question. Just 1 second. Here we go. So if you want to contact GoodData or connect with us, make sure to follow us in our social medias for all the updates. You can reach out to me, Mirek, Jan, any of us through our emails over there. And we also have our GoodData Slack community. Feel free to join, make all the questions you want. We'll be happy to have you there. Okay, so one more time, thank you very much for joining. Hope to see you very soon in our next session, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.